Yo, 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 what's the good word? It's your man Beretta from that podcast, appropriately named The Mind of Beretta. Wanted to do something a little different. I'm going to drop 2 episodes this week. One of those episodes I happen to do along with my brother Creed from the Elder Youth. This was done a couple of weeks ago. Just hadn't had a chance to get everything all nice and tidy, because I'm basically doing 10,000 things all at once. So I humbly apologize for the lateness of these 2 episodes. Again, I promise I will try to do better. And then my second episode, you'll see it as episode 10. I hope you enjoy or gain some, at least, insight into what I was thinking or what Creed was thinking. Sometimes we don't think, but that's okay, because after all, this is just our opinions with some facts sprinkled in there. At any rate, I will let it go from here, but let me warn you, these next episodes, if you have, young children, or if you do not cotton on to too much adult explicit language, these might not be the episodes for you. I would encourage those that do listen, just kind of bear in mind that there is some salty language, and since we're all adults here, we can understand the sentiments that are being voiced and raised. Okay, with all that said, away with the show. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right, what's the good word, everybody?
Hey,
I can't even believe I said everybody. It just reminds me of when I'm listening to Tariq Nasheed. He's talking about all these coon ass clowns talking about, hey, I'm just gonna be a coon ass clown, everybody.
pretty.
Yeah, it is. In any rate, yo, what's the good word, everybody? Damn it, I just did it again. Okay, well, I guess this is gonna be take 5, 6, maybe.
Take.
Well, fuck it don't matter.
Take 5. My favorite candy.
No, I'm not going to go there. Any rate, what's the good word? I'd like to welcome you to this latest episode of The Mind of Beretta once it gets started.
There's nothing wrong with saying everybody. I say it,
yeah, I know, but
hey, everybody.
Yeah, but not like that. That just sounds too crispy-ish. Any rate, as you can tell, I got my man Creed from the Elder Youth in. And we got a surprise visit from Miss Charlotte Davis. Hello, Miss Charlotte Davis. Hi, wifey. At any rate, it looks like it's gonna be one of those days. What day is it? Man, look, we got a lot we can chop up and we can go in any direction you want, but before we started recording, we were talking about hip hop, and I don't know if you want to call it the influence of homosexuality or the influence of the gayness in hip hop. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
it's called the unearthing. For years on YouTube, we got all the quote unquote Illuminati conspiracies. Like, man, they're trying to make you gay.
Well, I mean,
then embarrass you. Now, see, that's kind of the subject is real fickle and very moot, and because on one side it's actually a good defense in a sense, if that's your representation, if you have that sexual preference,
Okay.
and you know, this is why most of the time, like when they talk about, like, you know, especially with black men being emasculated and put into situations where they have to, you know, compromise their manhood, and then threatened, with, documented proof of that, those moments where they did that, if they didn't, quote unquote, go along with certain protocols, in terms of serving the purpose of poisoning the minds of masses. Like, it's kind of like a counter to that, as if somebody's like, well, what if a guy's like, what the hell, I'll come out like that anyway. Now what you gonna say?
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but then here's the problem with that, and this is something that I've maintained over a long time. Let's get this out of the way right now.
yep.
I'm not homophobic. That's gonna sound real crazy with people that know how I feel about this particular subject, but I'm the type of person that will tell you straight up, look, if you're a man and you want to love another man, or you're a woman and you want to love another woman, you do you. Just don't make me care about it. Just don't make me have to be in a position to where I have to support your cause. And the reason why I put it in those terms is because you have a lot of people that want to align the LGBTQ cause with the black civil rights cause. And those are two totally separate things.
We always look at one as optional and one as default. But a lot of people on that other end, see, it's important to try to see both sides of that equation, to me, because I have to know if somebody feels like that. Like, I've been around women who've admittedly felt like they can't be committed to one man because they feel they were almost like inherently groomed from the womb to be promiscuous. I've actually heard women say something to that effect before. And being in a committed relationship is a difficulty for them because they basically boy crazy, which is ironic. The irony is most of the time, like, people put men in that, always attribute their mind state to men.
Okay, well, no, I get that. I really do. But in the terms of where we are in society and where we are in especially hip hop, seeing as though that's something that the both of us, it's almost like we live it, we breathe it. It's almost in our DNA, but it's almost kind of messed up that if in fact we do look at it as being so much a part of us, we see some things that are wrong. And we see some things that kind of like make you raise your eyebrow. And of course, you're going to speak on it. And the reason that I speak on it is because, and ladies and gentlemen, go on ahead, do your Googles on this. There's documentation. Like the young kids say, there are receipts that go to show that, and I'm really trying to word this carefully.
These tendencies are a preemptive strike, so to speak, through biochemical manipulation of certain things that we consume normally.
Exactly. Translation. Some folks have been made gay, not born gay.
Okay.
And I know you're going. I know we've had these discussions, and I get what you're saying, but my question has always been whether or not you're gay or you're lesbian is not the issue. The question has always been for me is that, okay, you feel that way. Anybody that has taken any level of biology or has any type of religious or theological background, I mean, anybody that has grown up in a church has always been told that marriage is between a man and a woman. The unit of holy matrimony is only reserved to one man, one woman. Homosexuality is abomination. It's a sin. This, that, and the third. Okay. Anybody that is taking a biology class knows that to create an offspring, you need one male reproductive cell and one female reproductive cell to make an offspring. Ergo, a male and a female creates every child that every human being and every animal virtually has been created on this earth from a male sperm or whatever they want to call it in certain animals and a female egg.
Right. But now here's the thing is, you see some documentaries, especially like I saw something. I wish I had my facts and figures straight, but I want to see it was either Discovery or Animal Planet where they're explaining, there's certain species in the animal and insect world that exhibit characteristics relative, basically homosexual characteristics. And, okay, I believe in this world, I think this sounds really weird. I have a theory, and the theory is every representation of the human character, in our psyche, all these different trains of thought are meant to exist on some level or another for the sake of being able to research and for the sake of discernment. Meaning that if I don't know, like for instance, being a suburbanite, if I don't know the rigidity of street life, if I don't get if I don't at least get to observe it firsthand to where I can understand how it works, the effects of it, I won't, it's not going to build my character if I don't confront it on some level or another. I don't want it to overwhelm me to where it clouds my train of thought, clouds my thinking, but I would like to be able to observe it to where I can pose questions and maybe even derive answers from what I'm observing and then make determinations as to the benefit or the detriment of these different aspects of living.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I see what you're saying. I mean, basically what you're saying is that you're living your truth. because you realize you are not from the hood. You have enough self-awareness, which a lot of people around here, well, a lot of people out here nowadays don't, but you have the awareness in and of yourself to know that, look, this is not an environment that I grew up in. Okay. But I am willing to try to understand that environment. So I can personally know how to move in certain circles. Yeah. And if there's something that I don't see that if there's something that I see that I have a question about, at least I can ask a question from a particular knowledge base.
Well,
I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
Which actually brings me to this. When I say live your truth, the question that I've always had with individuals that want to go in this direction, that want to identify as LGBTQ. And again, I'm going to say this. Don't come at me, because I will come back at you real hard. I'm not a homo. I know, but you know how these folks get. I'm not a homophobe. I just propose this as a question. If there was any type of evidence whatsoever that would lead you to ask the question on, did these feelings inside of me occur naturally? Did these feelings inside of me happen from birth? Is this organic, or is this something that could have been caused by some outside influence or some outside chemical or whatever that maybe I didn't think that I was going to turn out gay or lesbian or whatever, but just the simple fact of, if there was a question on, if there was some, I don't want to call this some nefarious plot, but if there was some effort to, I guess, flip the odds in the favor of me turning out to be this way, wouldn't I want to know that? And would that influence my further thinking? Because as I've always come out and said, and as I've always been told, is that the minute you learn something, you become responsible for that knowledge. And when you become responsible for that knowledge, you are responsible for passing on that knowledge. So see, that's where I'll fall on that. And when it comes to this rap game, and you see that there is more and more of an acceptance of the LGBTQ community in hip hop, I just wonder, is that also a byproduct of some social engineering?
See, here's the thing: is okay.
Oh, bro, listen. We can just go ahead and get to the shits right now.
I mean,
and just put it all out there.
Well, here's my thing: is it's not for me to make an attempt to be politically correct or like universally accepted or acceptable. However, I do feel a personal responsibility to not be quick to condemn, and I say that for this reason.
It's not like I'm trying to condemn someone. I'm just putting it out there. Listen, Here's the perfect example for you. Okay, if you were a world-class track athlete,
all right,
and you basically trained your entire childhood, your entire high school years, your entire college years to be good at track and field. Let's just say you're the world's fastest man. Okay.
right,
And you trained all this time to be the world's fastest man. And then someone comes up to you and says, all that training you did really didn't mean much because at birth and I don't go there. This is just a hypothetical situation. From birth, you were injected with some type of serum.
You're the Flash.
Something like that. But again, I know that's the weird way out in left field scenario, but say you were genetically altered and basically bred to be this world-class athlete.
Yeah.
And then you find out this information, which basically means all that training that you did, you were going to be the world-class athlete anyway. Or let me take it let me take it in another direction, because that might not have been the best. Okay, say you're in high school, you have an affinity for mathematics, and then so you work on you work on math, calculus, algebra, things like that. And then you come to find out that you were steered that way to wanting to be this good at math and all that stuff, but you actually wanted to pursue some other course in life.
But here's the problem is, that contention can be made on either side. A lot of people that claim they feel a sexual, like an inclination toward a homosexual lifestyle, could make the same contention that I hated. Like, internally, I felt how disgusted I was for my dad always trying to hook me up with his friend's daughter, or always trying to push me to go on dates, and I don't even like girls like that. Somebody can make that contention on a female side. They could say the same thing when they never felt, because especially if, here's the thing, for real, the only real thing that separates homosexual like practice from intimate friendship between two people of the same gender is the only thing that separates those two distinct relationships is the sexual practices. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, now, I was taught that, old school Greek and Roman lifestyle promoted, like, in their mind, that was the consummation of a bonding process between two individuals, whether boyfriend and girlfriend or intimate friends of the same gender. They felt the only like the consummation of the bond that you develop between anybody in those cultures was physical contact, intimate physical contact, deriving pleasure. They felt that was the consummation. Therefore, like, that's why you had a lot of people that were really damn near omnisexual. Like, by omnisexual, I mean, like, man, like, they love their wife, they love their friend, and they love Fido and they want to do all of them. I mean, that's really this is real. This I mean, I'm being realistic. I'm not even trying to belittle people who might feel like, you know, passionate about their stance. So I'm not here to ridicule that, because we, on certain levels, we do that all the time. Even within a heterosexual framework, we have a tendency. We find a girl that we click with. Like, a guy will find a girl that they click with, or a girl will find a guy that they click with, and want to and if they click real hard and all the other elements fall in place, you know, in terms of, you know, their standard, or sometimes the bond they have, you know, the personality bond they have might even override their standards, to where, oh, they want to take this a step further. You don't even have to put it in homosexual terms. You put it in just in the general heterosexual world. We do this all the time. Now, it takes on deeper meaning to many people when we in the homosexual context. But my main point being is, you have to ask a question: why does in the European world, at least the old school European world, I can't necessarily say if that's still a practice, but why, when you have a friend, you say, "Man, you're my brother, and we're brothers, and we have an intimate bond," meaning it's close, man. We care for each other deeply. We love each other to the point we'll fight, kill for one another, support each other's causes, but that's where it stops. Why does it have to fucking go into a physical, lustful realm? You have to ask that. What makes a person say, "Hey, man, like, we're so cool, I want to get touchy"? Like, what the fuck? Like, my only thing, because see, my point. Well, I'm going to counter a couple of points you made, because you have to entertain both sides of an issue. Because we could sit there in today's world, and by today I mean, you know, from the mid 1900s forward at least. Yeah, there have been attempts by scientists, like, after research into the effects of certain chemical combinations, after test on, you know, after human testing as to the effects of certain chemical combinations, when they figure, hey, man, I apply this type of, you know, this set of chemicals to this set of people, and I get this result in terms of how they act, their mentality. Yeah, we can, you know, I believe it's safe to assume that has been done for several generations now, at least, right? Now, so I could contend, like, in today's world, homosexuality might be something that is assisted. The trend, the growth in the trend is definitely being further prompted and assisted by chemical manipulation. But let's not forget that homosexual practices way before any scientific manipulation came into play has always been around. What we have to figure, and it's too long of a conversation to try to start to pursue, you know, try to figure out where, like, hey, let's figure out who's the first gay dude, like, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah. Because, like, and then we can deem it deviant behavior, but in the mind of that person, is it really deviant? See what I'm saying? Like, now, if we weigh it against the consensus, perhaps we could say that. But in the way this world is going, our thinking will be an old consensus, an outdated consensus. Because now,
yeah, it will be it will be an outdated consensus. I will grant you that, but it just, at some base level, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. I'll just to be dead ass with you. It rubs me the wrong way to think that someone may be, and forgive me because again, I want to choose my words carefully, and then at some points in times I just say fuck it.
Okay, right.
But in this point, in this position, yeah, I'm gonna choose my words really carefully.
All right.
It rubs me the wrong way to think that there is a generation, and I'm only speaking about black folk because those are the people that, just like we are, I feel that I most identify with. I can't sit up here and say that I identify with white folks or I identify with Latino people because I haven't lived their situations. I haven't lived the Latinos' life, so I don't know. So I'm only going to speak on, being a black man in America. It rubs me the wrong way to think that there's a generation of young black men and young black women that I personally feel have been somehow manipulated into believing and feeling a certain way towards their same sex. And the reason I come up with that is that just with my badass eyesight, I see a lot of white folks. Yeah, you have gay and lesbian white folks, but you don't see that. You don't see how it basically has destroyed the family unit like it has done in the black community.
Yeah, no, no, Dick, trust me, I dig you 300%. Matter of fact, I don't necessarily disagree. I simply say it is extremely important. Look, because if I was trying to, if I was on some churchy stuff and I was trying to win souls, and I say, man, this is wrong. Number one, honestly, whether or not it's wrong, I'm not the one to give a decisive judgment. Who should be given a decisive judgment on these people? I'm not saying you are. What I am saying is it is important to understand, like, if I meet, and no disrespect, I love women more than those who know me think I do. My point being, if you meet a whore, I wouldn't laugh about this. I'm really not even being joking for real. Like,
yeah, I'm sorry.
I might laugh later.
I'm sorry, but it just happened.
My point is, if you meet a whore, right, and like, if you notice, most whores are very sociable. Like, that's why men usually fall in love with whores. We fall in love with whores because whores, after dealing with so many people, they've bonded with they have the capacity to adapt to so many different personalities and form, I would call psychochemical bonds with so many different types of people, because part of whoredom is wanting to taste a variety of different flavors on an intimate level, because that's it's really the same concept that we, when we consider the homosexual framework, really the concepts are relative. Now, which means it's a desire to, the concepts are relative where promiscuity is concerned. But occasionally, there, within the homosexual community, you have a lot of growing exceptions of people that actually want to give meaning to their relationship, as opposed to screwing a lot of, just because, like, you got two guys, they decide they like men, but they find a bond with one guy might find a very special bond with another guy, but they just because they like men and they're attracted to a certain other guy doesn't necessarily mean they want to screw a bunch of guys.
Well,
do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I get that. I mean, to where it boils down to where it not boils down to, but where it basically comes out to. So basically, what you're saying is that there's a segment of that population that the whole idea of sexual contact doesn't even register with them.
Well, let's put it this way. Like, they cherish whatever intimate bond they have with their same-sex partner, but they might just so happen to cherish it to the point where they want to have a life with that person, but they don't necessarily. Because what I'm saying is, look, if you put it, like I told you, if you put the whole gay lifestyle ideology, if you eliminated the homosexual aspect, matter of fact, if you converted it to strictly heterosexuality, you'll find that the only differences are the pursuit of an intensified bond with the same sex is the only real difference. Like, because the same things that go on, and me having a few lesbian friends, a few gay friends, relatives, and whatnot, like, just what did I get to observe is because one thing, and like I said, there's certain things that go on in the homosexual world that make you wonder, like, why are you being a homosexual? Like, because the first thing you think when you think of a homosexual is, homosexual lifestyle, or just any homosexual person, whether lesbian or gay, you figure at some point, and for whatever reason, they determine they don't like the idea of bonding with the opposite gender, right? Now, and then, but now, in my perception of the lesbian lifestyle, most of the times, like, women build an intense disgust for men, which I find ironic, because how you gonna hate men, but attract, in most instances, attract to women that act like men if you hate the male construct. Now, and then even more, why would you use fake male parts to penetrate one another if you don't like the male construct? So that lets me, it's
all about the penis. That's what I've heard.
Well, here's the thing. That means at a certain point there was something they ran into a disagreeable character, which means essentially deep inside, in that instance, they don't really hate men. They just had something that was so traumatic to them that they don't want to encounter that type of man again. But once again, the irony in that regard is a lot of times the women end up messing with chicks that act like dudes, the same type of motherfuckers that broke their heart. That's the shit I don't get.
Okay.
Like,
well, the trigger. That's maybe the overall point that I'm getting at is the trigger.
Yeah.
What's the trigger?
Yeah.
And again, when it just kind of, like I said, it just kind of makes me scratch my head sometimes, because if well, at least in my particular mind, if we are out here trying to pass along wisdom to the younger generation, especially younger generation of black males that are coming up, that have literally been giving just as much shot to grow up and be successful as we were given, and we were given less than no shot, but we all worked ourselves through it all somehow, some way. I just find it a head scratcher that we find ourselves talking about this?
Well, I don't, because you're in a world, man, black people have no cause. You got, okay, despite all the pro-black shit on your YouTube, most pro-black niggas debate too much to see eye to eye on anything and mobilize on common ideals. That's number one.
Good. You're
when
segueing the way
outsiders,
that I want to go
when
with this.
outsiders see that division, they're not attracted to it. As a matter of fact, they're repulsed by the shit. Like, you niggas, you attract them with the knowledge and even the idea of contributing to a cause that's healthy for them and their own people. And then y'all sit there and bicker amongst each other and won't see eye to eye on shit. And then you got them motherfucking, what I call, man, you got them scholarly pimps. I don't have to say names because that's not my objective. But like, you got them niggas. Cause we used to do it. I did it on a level, man. The minute I started learning God body stuff, man.
Oh man,
you find there was an era where women were attracted to that stuff, man. Like, oh, you're
Yeah.
so intelligent. Not kick like, yeah, sun, moon, stars, and all this shit to people. And before you know it, I'm getting whatever I'm trying to get from that female, and that's scholarly pimping. You're not using it for the right thing. Like, if you are gonna get that woman, you need to do right by the woman. But if you just getting it. Just you smash, you know what I'm saying, something you can smash, but then you trying to add on to your fucking psychotic harem, and that's not even legally, no legal binding to the women you dealing with. I'm just being realistic. Like, if I'm gonna be a whoremonger, like, why be a whoremonger in denial or sit there and try to mask it? Like, I say,
just be real about
it.
Man,
I'm a horn dog. I'm not necessarily proud of it, but I'm not. Why I can't sit there and try to. Hey man, unfortunately, I got this look that I can't erase, where I just fucking look fucking black Richie Cunningham.
Oh, stop it, man! But look here,
you understand? What I'm saying?
I understand, and I'm glad
I don't want to
detract.
This. I don't want to go too far.
No. You steered us right into where I wanted to go. You can classify this as, okay, so what do we do now?
Here's the thing.
Well, hold on. You just brought it up about no matter how pro-black some people act on YouTube or whatever social media, they talk too much. Number one. And number two, they talk about the wrong things too much.
But here's the thing. Okay. If I'm taught that promiscuous impulses are wrong, like, I would take homosexuality equation and still show you I'm not justifying homosexuality, but what I am saying is we should not be surprised that it exists like it does, despite the chemicals. Because slavery, some of the untold, or rather rarely told, aspects of slavery is that, you look at Roots and you see why women got raped. Well, they didn't show where the men got raped, because men were the delicacy of the slave master. They wanted to work you and screw you. Is that what I'm saying? And then breed you. So how fucking psychotic is a man going to be after he was screwed as a kid? He was the sexual delicacy of his slave master. So emasculated from the grip, but yet emasculated through the type of work he was doing. Now and then if those slaves that proved to be the most physically capable of handling the task given to them, you mating them, who are now psychological savages, they'll fuck anything because they was fucked like that. So anything they can put their thing into, they're gonna try to screw it. I'm just thinking about somebody. So you're sex crazed, but at the same time you're overworked on a plantation. You're whored out as a kid. These situations happen to black men, not just to black women. Mm-hmm. Now you can start seeing where all these different psychologies start leaking out into society as a whole, but specifically black society, from slavery. I'm not saying it didn't exist in Africa. I'm simply saying my personal contention in theory is that it did not exist to the point where it overwhelmed African society on the level that it's doing here. But I'm not looking. I don't look at this issue as strictly from a moral thing, like, oh, it's bad. What I'm looking at it as a backlash of mental issues that have never been properly addressed, and they hard to address because the cycle keeps repeating itself. Now the thing is, I do believe at the basis of true living in the human world is man and women. You never escape the mating of the masculine and feminine principles. That's why most of the time you might have two chicks that play around, but most of the time, eventually both of them chicks, if you have two what you call girly girls that play around, at some point or another, one of them is going to assume the masculine role. Which means because it's natural. The bonding of natural, it's music.
And
music is not masculine and masculine. Music is not masculine and feminine. It is masculine and feminine.
And there it is. Natural. Would you care to say?
Here's the thing. I don't want to sit there. I'm not pushing that on anybody. I'm inviting people to observe it, for themselves.
I get that, but again, this is where I pretty much dead the issue for right now. Is that with this one question? Is it the natural order of things?
So I don't want to say that because you're in a deviant world. And look, then this is why I'm asking this question. You're in a world. The only thing I hate, I got to tell you this because this is all relative. The problem, the biggest issue I hate with the increase in homosexuality is an increase in atheism, where people are abandoning the idea of a God. And then in the process, it gives people, when people abandon the idea of a God, you abandon the idea of divine law. When you abandon the idea of divine law, you say, fuck it. So there's no sin for anything I do. Now, if that's the case, the thing is, we can run, fuck using that to justify homosexuality. What happens is, if you abandon the idea of divine law under a divine creator, you let people lose the sense of consensus, like consensus moral opinion. The problem is with that is we're not, fuck the homosexual issue, but now look at all the deviance that people justify by their impulses. So now a lot of these people pushed into homosexuality, this is what I want to tell you earlier, is one of the issues I have with condemning homosexuality altogether is what do you do in issues with the people that have been traumatized by somebody? Like, I know girls that have been raped by grown women, but at the same time, most of the time, they're raped by men. Therefore, if they develop a hatred towards men or on some psychotic, how like oppressed people sometimes take on the role of the oppressor, they start wanting to be act out the role of the men that did that to them. No, so my thing is,
in other words, they were made that way.
Well, I mean, that's cool. Whatever that proof is, so I'm saying whatever the reason they exist, we could debate, nature versus nurture all day, but the thing is, we have to address all these different things that make, like you said, okay, some athletes got to keep taking performance-enhancing drugs just to compete with them niggas that's blessed and running over them like lawnmowers. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can debate that all day, because I need a little bit of both. I got enough of my nature to work with, but I need some nurture along the way. So, nigga, I might be popping some of the performance shits too.
Hey, listen,
but when we talk about the homosexual issue, is I'm not I'm not gonna say I'm completely cool with it, but I refuse to condemn it until people sit there and publicly start like unearthing the path to how not individual circumstances where this woman got raped or this guy that got raped. You got to look at the trend, the historical trends of that shit. You see what I'm saying?
No, I got you.
Because we have no purpose. You see what I'm saying? Like, I refuse to disbelieve in a God because I keep seeing devil shit. See what I'm saying? I do devilish shit, but I keep seeing devilish shit on such a grand scale. I'm like, if this devilish shit exists, there has to be the opposite. That's just life. So therefore,
well, yeah, the
we
yin and
just
the
have to
yang, I
properly
get that as well.
understand what the function that we call God is, because it's not just an entity, it's a function to that entity. And some of us, man, we got a kiddish viewpoint of what it's supposed to be. We think God supposed to give us lollipops when we want candy. You know what I'm saying? Instead of motherfucking ass whippings when we acting out of line. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I got you.
So
I
like
got you.
these shits, all these shits got to be addressed properly. Like I got to be real with myself. Like, hey man, like, and so I'm sorry, T man. I ain't mean to sit there. You know how I get.
No.
You got another, bro?
Yeah, there's one in the refrigerator,
Can
but
I have it?
yeah, go ahead. But I'll tell you this. I mean, I'm pretty much off of that particular thought for right now.
But see, that particular thought, it takes so many streams because you got to look at the underlying framework of that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We just talking about deviation at the end. What we deem to be deviation, but some of the deviants don't deem it as deviation. I mean, that's the confusion, and that's why I believe in the devil.
That's
You
true.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't say I
Yeah.
worship that motherfucker.
Oh, well, I wouldn't expect you to. And we're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, took a
Yeah.
little break, but at any rate, yeah, we could literally talk about this for 10,000 years, perhaps.
I'm ready to talk comics now. Let's talk comics.
Listen, I don't know about you, but I gotta go to work in about 7 hours. So,
Boy, you ain't lying.
at any rate, that's just a little bit of what's on our minds this weekend. As you already know, you can reach out to us via Twitter. I'm at Beretta Beats. You already know that. Creed, shout your deets out.
At KREID71. It's Twitter. That might pop up in Facebook as well.
Ain't nobody fucking with the page.
On the gram.
Ain't nobody fucking with Facebook no more, man.
It'll post, at KREID71. I'm same tag at the gram. I'm on there, hold money to my ear. You know how that go.
Well, listen. Oh, we're going to get to that
Monopoly money.
but
Yeah.
man, fuck all that damn shit. Any rate, we're out. We'll catch up with you. Peace.
Word up.